Hello and welcome to the Duquesne Sports Pregame Show. I'm Jack Morgan alongside me, Dylan Pfister, as always. Duquesne is coming down to the final 4 games of the season. They play LaSalle in a big one in Philadelphia at John Glazer Arena, the new arena for LaSalle. It's pretty cool, actually. Can't wait to get out to see it at some point. But for tonight, they're going to need a win. They need a big one. They got 3 pretty important games coming up against George Mason, VCU, and St. Louis on the road. So you got to take the wins where you can get them, where you're favored in this one. Presumably, Duquesne looks like the favorite in this battle.
Yeah, they certainly do, Jack, and certainly a gauntlet coming up for the Dukes. Like you mentioned, George Mason, VCU, and St. Louis. That's the second, first, and fifth seed to end out the season. Definitely not easy, but they've got a little bit of a pick-me-up game here, or it should be for Duquesne, but it might not be because you look a little bit deeper. The Explorers might have the key here to take down the Dukes at home because Duquesne has not been good on the road.
That is true. They are 1-7 on the road. It has been a brutal stretch for them. Only game that they won on the road this year was against George Washington, albeit very impressive victory. But when that's your only road victory, it looks really bad on the resume. And Duquesne will have to play games on the road. They'll be regarded as neutral site games, but they're going to Washington, D.C. for the tournament. So it's going to be on the road. So if there was any time for Duquesne to really start to get a road kind of resume going, it might be now.
And in favor of the Dukes, Jack, they actually are 2-3 at neutral sites. So a little bit of a better record there for them. Yeah. Maybe some positive thoughts going into the tournament. But like you said, that one win they had on the road was against George Washington. And in that game, they came out hot. They got the lead in the first half, and they sat on it. They had shut down defense out of the gate. They shot 50% from the field. So they were able to get that jump over George Washington. They're going to need to do that against the Explorers if they're going to go to LaSalle and win.
Absolutely. So these games, at this point, pretty important for seeding. Duquesne is in 9th heading into this game. Really, the A-10 is a bit of a logjam in the middle. They can't really get up. It'd be really tough for them. They needed to win the Bonaventure game to have any chance at a double bye. It's not going to happen, but you can position yourself well and make sure you get that day of rest once you get to Washington and not have to play on Wednesday. It would go a long way to shoring up a spot on the second day if they could win tonight. But talk about LaSalle, a couple of guys that they got going for them. They got a guy like Deuce Jones. They got a guy like Deshaun Shepard. They got a pretty good backcourt as far as backcourts go.
Yeah, they certainly do, Jack. They've got 2 guys as well that together lead the team in blocks, Jaleel White and Mac Etienne, both with 19 apiece. That's going to be big against a Duquesne team, like we've talked about for weeks, has been struggling getting those big guys going consistently down low, getting the post work to be truly a part of that offense. So those 2 are definitely going to have big games for the Explorers if they're going to shut down the Dukes offensively. Now, as for the offense of LaSalle, Corey McKeithen has just been explosive for them. 14.8 points per game, 70 assists on the year, and he's got nearly 60 threes. He's been everywhere. Certainly a player to watch in this one.
Yeah, I was going to say I would be remiss without mentioning Corey McKeithen, who did have 20. His season high was 28 points, or is currently 28 points, and he got it against Temple. So pretty good team to get it against an American Conference foe. But we're going to move into our players to watch in this one. And as per usual, we'll start with LaSalle. There's some guys to pick, so really can't go wrong here with your pick. And I think you're kind of on a streak with these players to watch. I'm going to be honest, you had Noel Brown last game, right?
I think I did.
I think you did, and he did play a big role down low. The Dukes had a tough time stopping him, so you're on a roll here.
My prediction record is not the best this year, but we can look to my players to watch and give me a little props for that one. I'm going to be looking at Demetrius Liley for this one. 6.2 rebounds per game. That leads the team. And I look at that stat specifically because this LaSalle team is 3rd in the A-10 in offensive rebounds. So again, they rank 14th and they rank very low in a lot of categories, but not in this one. Demetrius Liley leads them in rebounding, so he's going to have a big game against the Dukes, who've struggled in rebounding on their own right. They've actually, defensively in rebounding, been dead last. So this is an area where the Explorers can really take advantage of the Dukes' weaknesses and capitalize on their strengths.
kind of an area for them to exploit. I'm going to go with, for my player to watch, I am going to go with Deshaun Shepard, and he's been around the program for a couple of years now. He was there with the Killer Bees, and I just think that guard play is going to be pretty important in this one. I've been impressed with Deshaun Shepard's game as a whole, so I do think that he's going to play a big role in this one. And Duquesne actually got cooked by the guards of St. Bonaventure in their last road game. So it's certainly possible to see a repeat of that, or maybe Duquesne is able to stop him. Either way, he's going to be a key player in this game, along with other guards on the Explorers team. We move over to Duquesne, and a lot of options, and we've had a lot of games to kind of now see the type of players that need to step up for them to win games. So I think we're going to start to get more accurate with these in the next couple times, which will be in the A10 tournament, hopefully.
I'm going with a little bit of an obvious answer here, and it's Trey Dinkins, but it's for the reason of how he played in the second half against the Bonnies. You look at the first half that Trey Dinkins had, and he was pretty much hitting every shot he took. He was hitting threes from almost the logo, and that was something that kind of disappeared throughout the game. It was something that Duquesne really was just trying to implement in the offense in those last few minutes, get one more shot off, and it didn't happen. It seemed like Trey Dinkins kind of almost disappeared in the game plan. I think he's got a fire underneath him, and he's going to have a big game against LaSalle. He's got to go up against Corey McKeithen, Deuce Jones on the other side as well. Very good scorers, the two of those players. Trey Dinkins has a lot of work cut out for him against the Explorers.
I'm going to do something that I don't think's ever been done in the history of this pregame show, albeit the short history, but with Duquesne having a couple of injuries, I feel like if I were to say Jayshawn Corbett and he isn't gonna play, then I would feel bad. So I'll give you two. I know for sure Cam Crawford's going to play, and I know for sure he's going to have to make an impact. He had double digits again against the Bonnies with 12 points, 4 rebounds as well. But I think that Jayshawn Corbett is going to play a big role because he saw how good the Bonnies were on the interior against the Dukes and how much it killed them early on and contributed to the Bonnies getting a big lead. So I think that if Corbett's back, I think he's going to play a big role defensively, and offensively, we've seen his game. The dude can score with the best of them in the A10 down low. So I think that if Corbett is back, I think that is absolutely my player to watch. If not, then book me in for Cam Crawford to have a big game. We're going to go to our game picks. So I know I'm now 7-5. Not to brag, I'm just saying the facts. I feel like you've been better on the players to watch, not so much on the picks, and that's my only saving grace.
It's been a rough go-around for sure.
It's been a rough go-around. We can maybe change that, though. We'll get this game. We'll have the A10 tournament game. So there's a chance for a comeback. So let's start that comeback. Duquesne versus LaSalle. Who you got winning this one?
We're starting.
Break it to me straight.
We're starting my personal record comeback with the Dukes getting a win on the road. Like we said, they're 1-7. That's been rough, but they're finally facing a weaker defense. This is an offense for Duquesne that struggled. They're playing the 14th ranked LaSalle defense. I think they can finally get it going, put some points on the board. Trey Dinkins going to have 20-plus points, and I see the Dukes beating the Explorers by a comfortable margin, 75-76. Or, 75-65.
I'll take that.
Comfortable margin.
That'll be a nice margin. We're going to be streaming this game, by the way, on the DSTV YouTube channel, literally right here where you're watching the video. Just, click on in. The game starts at 6:30. It's on ESPN Plus as well, so no nationally televised game. I think Duquesne has one more of those, and that comes against VCU, the final home game. So I'm going to go with Duquesne. I hate to break up the possible comeback train, but I think that Duquesne gets it done. I think they have to get it done. I think it's more so for me is that you can't lose this game. The Bonnies, all right, yeah, it's your rival. It's on the road stuff. You can't lose a game to 4-10 LaSalle. If you have aspirations of making some noise in the A10 tournament, you got to take care of business. You got to win this game. I think they win this game. I think they win this one, but I think it's going to be a little close. I'm going to go with 69-62, but Duquesne does get it done in the end. We shall see, though. Once again, remember, live stream at 6:30 tonight on the DSTV YouTube channel. We'll see you there. As for us, We're out. This has been the Duquesne Sports Pregame Show. For Dylan Fisser, I'm Jack Morgan, saying so long and enjoy the game.